here's something that they should be teaching in public schools, but of course they won't, because that would actually make people competent coming out of that system, and it would make them dangerous in the marketplace of ideas. The need to learn financial literacy. We've been talking a lot about credit when it comes to the channel, but just understanding the macro, okay? Because credit, yeah, it gets your foot in the door, okay? It's a door opener and a door opener, if you want to just go ahead and use that analogy. But understanding the basics, we should just peel it back a little bit, because credit's important, but knowing what to do with that credit, even more important still. The demand for financial literacy education among high school students has increased in recent years. Yeah, because everything has changed, okay? You can't just blindly be putting your faith into a system that has changed so much, even since the time that the instructors that are teaching these kids, okay, they entered a completely different world than the kids that are just exiting the system. And some of them are just going to be recycled back into the system because the propaganda is awfully strong. So very few independent thinkers that are out there, and even fewer of them are actually going to hear this message. With ease of access to bank accounts and credit cards, and fear of abuse, mishandling, or scamming, just frankly, a lack of understanding and a misinformation campaign that's being run that, oh, capitalism is evil and the evil banks are just all predatory. They're just coming to get all of your money. Things like that couldn't be further from the truth, but that's what gets the mainstream coverage. Evil, vindictive folks that want to keep you dependent on their system instead of just throwing you down the ladder to say, hey man, I'm not going to drag you up that thing, but here's the ladder in order to climb it. Achieve your own success at your own pace. Financial literacy has become a need for teenagers turning into adults. Only 8 states have statewide requirements for passing a personal finance course. 5 more states are implementing that requirement, with Florida being the largest state to do so. Previously, Florida offered a personal finance course as an elective, but only 5% of students took advantage of that opportunity. Oh my God. The amount of stupid electives that I needed in order to get a high school diploma was insane. Okay, like, I'm a hell of a good baker, by the way. Just saying, man. I took home ec all the way to the top, mostly because I have this unending desire to be the most independent person I can possibly be, and because there was a really cute chick who was a grade older than me, but I don't know where she's at right now, because, yeah, man, she's older than me, so she'd be 33 or 34 at this point. Gross. Women that age? That's disgusting. Anyways, educators and financial experts agree that high school students are old enough and wise enough to understand financial literacy information without having to drag in the disgusting natures of what kids are being forced to learn in today's day and age. Financial literacy. Hey man, if you think that those kids are old enough to learn and make life-altering decisions based on some parts of the curriculum, they're probably smart enough to learn about the monetary system in their own country. Just saying. Research shows that low financial literacy leads to difficult financial situations throughout life. Imagine that. A lack of information leads to poor choices. As indicated here, low financial literacy tends to lead to inadequate savings, difficulty paying bills on time, and perhaps more importantly, many more hours in a week worrying about personal financial situations. Taking a required personal financial literacy course does not prevent such outcomes, but it does lead to better understanding of money-related decisions. Yeah, exactly. I could sit anybody across from me down. I could be standing here on this video right now yelling at the top of my lungs to not do drugs, not do alcohol, not drink alcohol. I don't know how you do alcohol. Like, I don't know, maybe there's some really advanced addicts that are out there that need to mainline the stuff in order to get a buzz. But no, you just put all that stuff away. Okay, it's not going to guarantee your success out there. And sure, you can point to some of the outlier cases of, oh, that guy drinks every day and he's super successful, or Joe Rogan smokes pot. But if you want to go ahead and try to point to the exceptions in order to prove the rule, that's some bitch argumentation right there you got, my guy. So why don't you want to set yourself up for the best possible outcome? Not saying that it's going to be happening, okay, but you're putting yourself in the best possible scenario. One of those situations where if you're just given an opportunity to pick whatever race car you want, not putting yourself at a mental or a physical disability, selecting the Ferrari going down a drag strip in opposition to a Toyota Corolla, okay, being better than average, I would just say that that'll probably give you a little bit of a head start out there. Just saying. So financial literacy topics. Financial literacy courses offer the basics of managing money. They provide background knowledge for creating a solid financial foundation and prevent young people from making mistakes which create financial struggles early on. Such struggles can linger, preventing young people from reaching the financial stability they need for adult living. Yeah, exactly. Just getting a huge amount of credit on a credit card, running up that bill because, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I got what? A $5,000 credit card? So that means I got $5,000 free. It doesn't work that way. And then you end up defaulting on that debt because you don't stop at that one $5,000 payout from Visa. You just go hit up MasterCard and they give you another five. Talk to Amex, they might give you 7.5, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're about 17.5, $20,000 in debt, and all you got is a really cool jet ski to show for it. Not exactly the way forward. Sure, you probably had a hell of a fun time racking up all that debt, but guess what? You got to pay it back some point. Debt collectors are going to be knocking, and those boys are ruthless. So here are some topics most often offered in financial literacy courses. Budgeting. Yes, the basics of budgeting. To track your income and your expenditures. Again, this should just be at least a module in most math classes that are out there today, if not a part of, I forget the specifics. It was more or less just like an advanced health class that you needed to take in order to graduate high school, but it was totally worthless. I don't even remember anything. I knew that it was a required elective. So stupid, but you needed it in order to graduate. And it didn't teach you anything about finances. It was in a little trailer out behind the school, and the teacher had one. No, I'm just kidding. She was kind of a little haughty too, if I recall. She was also the French teacher. Anyways, debt. Yes, learn about debt. Obviously, it's very easy to go into debt these days. But you know what else they don't teach you? How to leverage debt in order to make money as well. But that's a little bit more advanced. Something we'll talk about in the future. Credit cards invite debt. Yes, stupid, bad consumer debt. Don't be doing that. Use those credit cards for everyday purchases, things that you're going to do regardless. Okay, buying groceries, buying dinner. Okay, anything like that. Use other people's money in order to jack up your credit card and then just immediately pay it off. It's just begging you to accumulate cash back, accumulate points that you can use. Let other people who want to have interest just completely ravage their balance. Let them keep Amex's lights on, okay? Let them put Timmy Visa through, Harvard or whatever. Use that to your advantage. Don't just be buying dumb stuff, okay? Credit cards invite debt, as do car loans. Yeah, and again, just buying brand new vehicles in today's day and age, you just might as well flush your money down the toilet, okay? Buy a lease back, okay? Something else we should probably talk about in the future as well. It is important for young people to be aware of how much debt they have. Yeah, again, because that weighs heavily on your credit score. And as we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago, the importance of driving up your credit in order to take advantage of the bank's money, which will just make you money in the long term. You're just setting yourself up for not getting the invitation in order to achieve a better life. How much of their debt is increasing due to interest rates, and and how they can reduce the debt. So saving, yes, there are two ways to approach saving. If you're just saving your money at this point, you're not putting it into any commodities or anything that can create money. Yeah, and again, you're not gonna fight inflation. That is, at least it's reported, right, at 9.1%, which, come on, stop the cap. On a savings account that gives you what, 4%? Maybe. Stop it. Keep enough for a rainy day. Make sure that you have 6 months to a year in savings in order to cover yourself in case things really, really go sideways, or you have a very large unexpended expenditure that just pops up. Definitely do that, but the days of just hiding your wealth underneath your mattress, oh boy, those are long gone, because if you think what you're making right now is somehow going to translate into generational wealth by just saving a little bit of money every month, yeah, that stuff's not going to work. Using compound interest, that's great money that's great advice for average people that are out there in a bygone era, but in today's day and age, in the 21st century, in the 22nd year of the 21st century, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it anymore. Put away the difference between what you make and spend each month. Put it away in order to build up at least a little bit of a nest egg, and then use the rest of that expenditure in order to put it forward into something that's going to make you money, okay? Or determine how much you want to save each month and manage your income and expenditures accordingly. The value of having a savings account comes when you try to acquire credit. Your credit score and your credit rating are both determined by the amount of money you are able to keep. Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, if you have a little bit of savings built up, then you can get into real estate. And again, that's where all the big money is made. And then you can get access to different, tax benefits as well. And if you ever wonder why rich people are always involved in real estate, that's your reason why. Investing, from a basic standpoint, investing is placing your extra funds into a financial tool that will produce additional funds in the form of interest. Yeah, like crypto, but they aren't going to tell you that one. Savings bond, interest-bearing savings account, and individual retirement accounts or 401k accounts are the simplest form of investing. Yes, low risk, but also low return, because again, even if you invest in the S&P 500, your gains year over year, 4, 5, 6%, cool. Or if you get a mentor in the crypto space and that you just end up catching a pump on something, you could end up 20,000 timing your money. I didn't stutter. That stuff happens on a long enough time scale. But again, the crypto's not for the faint at heart, and NFTs are just for morons. Ways to become financially literate on your own. Yes, indeedy. So again, those are all the basics: budgeting, debt, savings, investings. Where can you learn more? YouTube videos. Well, yeah, of course. I'm trying to help at least a little bit, but more specific sources. Okay, I got you. Say you want to learn, say what you will about social media, but yes, it's a detriment if you're using just nonsensical sites like Twitter or scrolling endlessly through the thoughts on the explore page of your Instagram, okay? Listening to the whining and complaining of family members on Facebook, or, I don't know, running scams on Snapchat, whatever people do over there. I don't really know. It's a weird site. If you do that, yeah, you'll hear people saying, oh, social media is a blight on society, but it also gives you unlimited access to unlimited information. So again, you can either use the fire that is social media to heat your house, or you can use it to burn down the neighborhood. Choice is yours. But instructional YouTube content, yes, and just because it's instructional doesn't mean that it can't be funny, doesn't mean that it can't be engaging either. Including understanding financial literacy. If you are serious about using YouTube for this purpose, find out what you can about the instructors who post instructional videos. I have a couple of examples, but they also have a few here as well. Pay attention to and nature of the instruction, general overview or step-by-step lessons, similar to what you might get in school, or it could be just completely different as well. Take notes on what you could learn in school. Forbes suggests Graham Stephan. I think I've heard of him, but I'm not entirely sure. Ryan Schneiber, okay, and Nate O'Brien are just some of the best YouTube instructors. Personal finance guru Dave Ramsey. Again, it's just basic bitch instruction when it comes to reducing all your debt. It's good ideas, okay? Reducing consumer debt, unnecessary debt like that. Yeah, no, that's great. But again, that's just average advice for average people, okay? He talks about having absolutely no debt. But if you're trying to get into real estate, okay, if you're trying to leverage other people's money, which is just the dark secret out there when it comes to making real money out there, you're going to need to take on good debt. And again, I would also take a look at, and here are some people that I would put on there as well. Robert Kiyosaki, okay, the guy who authored, and I got a copy over there, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When it comes to the macro space, macroeconomics, you got George Gammon, Rebel Capitalist, all that kind of stuff as well. Ken McElroy, he's got billions of dollars in real estate as well. All of those guys give great financial advice, and they're all hella engaging. Couldn't recommend them more. Books, the For Dummies series is a great place to start. Yeah, no, and again, some of that stuff is a little bit more high-level stuff, but if you just need to get the basics, yeah, of course. It's just the old joke, like even from back in the day. The For Dummies series and the Chicken Soup for the Whatever Soul, that was the old joke back in the late 90s. I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but I remember when all that stuff was going around, when those were starting to get hot, it was, pretty correlative. As you become more literate, the sophistication of the books you read will increase. And again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I can't recommend it highly enough. Online resources are your websites dedicated to personal financial issues and concerns, more financial literacy. It can help you protect you from making financial errors. Sites like NerdWallet and Penny Hoarder are likely to have articles specifically targeting to answer your personal financial questions. Yeah, no, I have no online recommendations. I have no website specific recommendations. All I know is different people that talk about the stuff in the space on YouTube. Community colleges, yeah, man, just always sign up at a reputable place with a reputable mentor, okay? Just don't be going down and listening to a business teacher who has never made money in their life life talk to you about business, because again, they're just reading to you something from a more successful person, making you pay how much money for a textbook. I went to college. It's been a few years. I kept a couple of my books, but I know how much money I shelled out when it came to that stuff. When at the same time, okay, knowing the potency of some of my professors that were out there, I could have cut out the middleman and saved me a heck of a lot of time if I would have just bought the physiology book, or if I would have just bought the biology book as well. So not to say all courses are bad, but you also have to vet your mentors as well. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit, okay? Because I want everybody to be rich. I want everybody to be happy on their purpose, finding their goals. And while people say money can't buy happiness, it's a goddamn good down payment. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.